Hello and welcome to the Libertarian Perspective, a discussion of state, local, and national issues with a libertarian flair. My name is Doug Klippel. I'm the former two-time state chairman of the Libertarian Party of Florida. We really appreciate you tuning into today's broadcast. With me, my regular partner in crime, Phil Labe, the regional representative of this part of Florida for the Libertarian Party of Florida. Phil, good to have you back on the show. Appreciate you coming out.
Good to be here. I'm excited about this unique show we're going to have here.
We do have a very unique show today, in that we've actually got a couple of guests, actually two guests. That makes it a little bit unusual. And they are on opposite sides of a big issue that's going to be on the November ballot. So I don't know if we should have brought our striped shirts and our referees' whistles or what. You know, you get that one in the clinch, I'll get this one in the clinch. How about that?
Sounds like a plan.
As mentioned, we do have a couple of guests with us today, and I'm going to ask them to briefly introduce themselves. We're talking about the Amendment 4 that's going to be on the November ballot, known as the Florida Hometown Democracy Land Use Amendment. And with us today we have Chuck White, who's representing Florida2010.org and who's going to be speaking in opposition to Amendment 4. Chuck, we're going to get into the heart of the matter in just a little bit, but why don't you give folks just a little bit of background on you, where you come from, and why you're interested in this issue.
You betcha, Doug, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here with Ms. Stanko and with you, Phil. Thank you very much for the invitation. Florida20.org, there's a website. That's the committee that's been put together to present the facts as to why you should be voting no on Amendment 4. Not saying that Amendment 4 or the process is perfect, but this is our contention that this would actually make the process worse. Okay. Me personally, I own a company called NAI Commercial Jacksonville. It's a commercial real estate firm. We do an awful lot of tenant representation and a lot of leasing. Many times when it comes to development opportunities and land use changes, we're not involved as brokers. However, the NAIOP group, which is the National Association of Industrial and Office Properties, which is a national organization, and I'm a past president of the local chapter, is a very inclusive organization that has somewhere about 11 to 12 trades in it, in all the groups. And there are many developers and organizational people in that group, and they are very much no on 4 as we are, mainly because it's a job killer in our point of view at this point in time. Okay. We're not saying that the system's perfect, but we're saying that this could be done better.
Okay, I appreciate that. And representing the pro-Amendment 4 side, we're pleased to have Janet Stanko with us. And Janet, you're representing FloridaHometowndemocracy.org. And of course, on the screen, there's going to be a crawler where people can see that website. And we're going to be going over both of your respective websites as the show goes on. But why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and why you're interested in this issue?
Well, I'm a resident of Jacksonville for almost 27 years. And I got focused on growth management issues through my participation in Sierra Club. Mm-hmm. Sierra Club is an organization that preserves and protects and promotes enjoyment of the natural environment. But one of the things we get involved in is opposing inappropriate development when it impacts on the environment.
Okay. Okay.
And we found that we would go to elected officials at all the appropriate times, participate in the hearings, quote the law, because we deal with the law and base our positions on legal aspects. And we found we kept losing. And we came to the conclusion that it was because the decisions were made before we even came to the table. In the processes, hearings are, 2 public hearings are required before elected officials make up their minds so they can take into consideration the public input. Despite multiple people speaking against certain development proposals, the elected officials almost always say yes. Okay. In the last 4 years, they've only said no to 3 land use changes. So we had to do something different. We got involved in Amendment 4. I have been involved for approximately 3 years. And so we decided we needed to do something different to get around the influence of the development community on elected officials' land use decisions. Okay. And Amendment 4, we feel, does that.
Okay, great. Well, appreciate that background, and we are going to get into some of the nitty-gritty of this. So our first overhead just provides a snapshot of what we're going to be doing today, which is I'm going to very briefly provide an overview of what Amendment 4 covers. Of course, you've already seen the guests that are here representing both sides. We're going to have a little discussion, a little Q&A session, and of course we're going to regularly repeat contact information on how you, the viewer, can find out more about both sides of this issue. So going ahead and looking at our next overhead, this is officially known as the Florida Hometown Democracy Land Use Amendment. It is going to be on the November 2nd, 2010 ballot. It needs a 60% voter approval rate to pass and become law. There was a challenge to the initiative. It was thrown out by the Florida Supreme Court, so this issue will be on the ballot in November. Let's go ahead and take a look at the text of what this amendment covers. One more?
One.
So basically, before a local government may adopt a new comprehensive land use plan, the proposed plan or amendment will be subject to a vote of the electors of the local government by referendum, following preparation by the local planning agency, consideration by the governing body, and notice. What does this mean in practice? Our next slide, Amendment 4 in practice. Basically, every Florida county does have a current master land use plan. Right now, changes to that plan need to be approved by city and or county commissioners. And if approved, Amendment 4 would add yet one more step to that process, where something that is approved by a city or county commission would also then be subject to a vote on the ballot. So that is what we are talking about today. And we have a slide that summarizes some of the issues around the folks that would be in opposition to Amendment 4. Let's go ahead and put that up, and I'm going to quickly cover that and then turn it over to Chuck for a more in-depth discussion of what these are. In terms of the folks that are opposed to it, generally speaking, a lot of them say this could be considered a vote on everything, with a lot of different elections that would, of course, cost a lot of money to actually conduct those type of elections. There are some economic impact estimates in terms of costing quite a bit of money and costing a significant number of jobs. Opponents say that this is going to even encourage sprawl by resulting in more piecemeal type planning and exceptions to the comprehensive land use plan. And some people would say it's really not been very successful where it's been tried, with St. Petersburg Beach being an example that was exemplified by litigation and gridlock. So, Chuck, with that as a general backdrop, feel free to expand on any of those issues or bring your own in.
Actually, I'm going to do a little bit of both, Doug.
Okay.
First off, we always like to talk about who benefits by if you vote yes on Amendment 4. And it's our opinion that the people that benefit most are special interest lawyers. They're the lawyers that have worked over the years, and I've been involved in this basically since 2002, as this was first being approached to the state constitution as a ballot amendment, change to the ballot. Special interest lawyers who have crafted the idea, placed their own money into it to get the signatures put on the ballot, brought the question to root, and really haven't framed the question correctly. And then what has happened in St. Beach as a result of this is when the voters realized that they made a mistake in 2006 to pass this amendment in their city locale only. 2008 they made some changes to the constitutional change in their city guidelines, and they got sued by the same special interest lawyers that placed the ballot originally on in 2006. And that's because the comprehensive land change, anytime you make a change, will now, the county comprehensive land change will now need a vote by the entire public. Now, the people that are in favor of Amendment 4 say you won't have many votes on it. And as you say right here on the top, a vote on everything amendment, 10,000 elections estimated. And it is one of the things that has been proven. And the Florida State Supreme Court does disagree with that stance that there won't be a vote on everything.